Mr. Forbes.
Mr. Speaker, the very first act of the first Congress in the United States was to bring in a minister and have Congress led in prayer. A few years later, when we unanimously declared our independence, we made certain that the rights in there were given to us by our Creator. President George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, William McKinley, Teddy Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, Herbert Hoover, Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John Kennedy, Ronald Reagan all indicated how that the Bible and Judeo-Christian principles were so important in this nation. So if in fact we were a nation that was birthed on those Judeo-Christian principles, what was that moment in time when we ceased to so be?
Our country is now under the greatest challenges that we face perhaps in the whole history of the country.
Most Americans are not aware that there's a battle for their freedom.
And one of the things that we see under attack across America is our faith.
Anti-faith, anti-God groups, they are committed to removing God in America, and they have an agenda.
This big attack on faith across the country is designed to separate that Creator from those rights. If they can convince us the Creator never existed, He doesn't live, He isn't true today, or if they can convince us that there's no nexus between that Creator and the rights, or we can't talk about that nexus, they have won the argument that either the rights don't exist or that those rights were given to us by the state.
Then the state gives the rights, and the state can take rights away.
What can we do to change what's happening across the country?
It's time now for Americans to unite again and say, we're not going to let this country go. America is worth fighting for.
God has been at the core of our founding as a nation.
And without God, we will fail.
To separate ourselves from the church would be a demise of this country.
It is prayer which causes us to not have that fear.
We've got to have people of faith who are willing to come back together and pray, that are going to say, we're not going to go quietly into the night.
An extraordinary prayer initiative, spearheaded by our government leaders, has been launched. Hundreds of national, state, and local elected officials have already signed the Call to Prayer proclamation and are calling you to sign it too. Churches across America are inviting government leaders to read the proclamation, urging us to join them. Go to PrayUSA.com, add your name, commit to pray, not just for a day or a month, but in unceasing prayer for our nation and our leaders.
You've got a choice. We need to be asking the question, how can we make a difference and restore America?